Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show.
I also wanted to tell you about a book. I'll probably put this as like the pre to the whole episode. So there is this book, and you'll also get a feel about what this episode is about when I discuss the book. It's called Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. And if you have ever seen, read, experienced for colored girls who have contemplated suicide, this is kind of the energy behind it. What it is the story of the author, and I actually got to hear the audiobook version, which I think added so much quality to it because it is her story. And there is, I got to give all of the trigger warnings: assault, racism, drug abuse. It's a hard life, but the hope and the beauty of the way that the story is written, the harshness of just being Black and woman and in this world. I literally almost cried a couple of times in this book. And so if you are emotionally prepared and ready to read something like this, I definitely recommend it. It pulls the strings, but it also is very beautiful and uplifting. So I definitely recommend Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. And let's get into the show.
I really was gonna wait for this crow in the background to stop in order to do the episode. Trying to do an earlier day episode in order to not be, scrambling late in the evening. So if you hear a crow, this is your PSA. And welcome back to Creatively Exposed. Last week was very heavy, and it continues for Black women in this world, especially if you are in the US. And it's been weird because it's been a really positive weekend, but I guess the way to continue is to hold on to my humanity and joy. But I want to discuss this. It's been on my spirit. It's been in my thoughts, and I think that we'll discuss a couple of things. In regards to justice and Blackness and the lack of justice, I guess there's a perspective that I want people who are not a part of this group to understand, right? And also for those who are, I see you. We are still worthy of joy. We are still worthy of justice, even in the system that was not created for us. We are still worthy of thriving and being able to survive. And I think someone else had mentioned it, but just to mention it again, it's literally, if you're not seeing Lovecraft Country, it's literally what she said. It's like, I love being a Black woman, but the world keeps interrupting. And so here we are. And if anyone was surprised at the lack of fucks given, right? Because let's just call it what it is. welcome. You're realizing this is our day to day. And it is unacceptable. Period. You know? It's just the plight of oppressive systems are exhausting. Like, I don't know why it's so complicated. Like, all that's needed is for us as in Black people, especially Black women, see me as human. And if you don't, leave me alone. I feel like I've said that, but just in case. And it's unacceptable for, I don't know what they're even called, departments or enforcements or whatever can come into your sacred home that supposedly is supposed to be a safe space, and you can no longer wake up from your own bed. Think about that if you're not a Black person. Isn't that scary? So it's exhausting to always feel unsafe with everyone, with men of all kinds, really, with people who are not Black. Because if we talk about Latinos, there are a lot of Latinos that continue to push white supremacy. It's just, there's a certain kind of terrorism that ensues when it comes to the way oppression is set up and the way people don't understand that Black lives do matter. I don't know why that's so complicated, and how everything is interwoven with slavery in history and the lack of humanization of Black people. So what did the verdict give me? A lack of surprise. Sometimes it gives hopelessness and rage, because there's no way of telling me because of XYZ she's not worthy of being here today. And that's on period. And then we continue with this little man who shot Megan, and the continuum of misogyny, patriarchy, gaslighting, and just continual disrespect of what is the Black woman. And it's like, y'all not tired? Like, you literally could just leave us live and be, and not think that I owe you anything because I'm a Black woman. Like, you could just literally mind your business and not mind mine. So it's hard to feel safe, even in my own home. And these are things that have been on my spirit and on my mind. And the only way to change, if you even, want change, is for non-Black people to have the necessary conversations, making the hard decisions, having the hard conversations with other people who are not Black in order to make this a movement. Voting is important, but we also need the dismantling of a system that is so archaic and it's so small-minded that it's hunting season on Black people and everybody gets away for free. Money is not going to quantify a human being. And I feel like I don't want to be called strong. Oh, you're a strong Black woman. Don't call me that. Because what you do is you remove my capability to be gentle, to be vulnerable, to be human to have hurdles. Like, just because I can deal with what comes to me doesn't mean that I want it all to come onto my shoulders. So if you love a Black woman, see her humanity and honor that. And if you don't, just leave us alone. Like, I don't even know if you are on my podcast. I don't even know what you're doing here. So, part of being a creative is being in the world and being present with being in the world and seeing all the bullshit that is going on. And what are we going to do about this? Do you feel that there is a need for work to be done in regards to, be it the future, what is the world that you want to be in look like, and how can we make those a reality? And so that was my introduction. That is what it was on my spirit, because it's not something that I can ignore, because it could have been me, and that's what a lot of people don't realize, because maybe you aren't Black, and maybe your privilege allows you to be safe in the spaces where I could never. And so, yeah, that's what I got on that. If you are a non-Black person and you don't know how to have the conversation, you could literally have that conversation, not with me though, because I'm not going to be providing emotional labor for free and assisting people how to not be racist and oppressive, but with the other people in your circle. It will be uncomfortable. It may be rejected. It may be that you are attacked for it. Welcome to my everyday. Point blank. If you are passionate or you actually care about having a different life in the future where everybody is a human being, then those conversations are necessary with your family, with your friends, with people who benefit from whiteness. And you can preface it. And if you do want to have a conversation with a Black person, because I'm not going to say person of color, but definitely a Black person, first thing, and see, I'm doing the emotional labor right here. First thing, don't center yourself in the whole equation. We don't care about your position on how you feel about whatever. Like, listen, ask, preface with it saying, I'm never going to stand. I don't know how to have this conversation, but I really want to know, I don't know, whatever question you got, because I can't relate. So just be mindful that Black people, Black women are exhausted. And so if you're reaching out because you need somebody to teach you to do whatever, we are not the ones. Please let us be. We have been in constant grieving and mourning. And now on to other things. This is like the weird paradox that is life, right? Having to continue life while grieving and mourning all of the things. Humanity and Blackness. Still, there's a pandemic going on, even though the world is acting like it's not. And missing human interaction and hanging out and carnival. For me, I'm like really struggling that carnival is not happening this year. But I also had the immense honor and pleasure of being part of the Latin Heritage Book Festival, and I'll put the YouTube links where we did talk about, Latinidad. Afro-Latinidad was one of the panels that I was on, and as well as a lilting line of alliteration where I was both panels, I was surrounded by amazing published authors, and I'm just like, whoa.